Hi everybody. So here is my second installment for a class flow that I wanted to bring everyone while we are social distancing or maybe in self-isolation. So this is our practice of yoga for calm space. So while the last video was active strength, very yang inspired, energetic and strong, this is the other side. So a little more gentle, slower paced, and with much more yin qualities, as well as a yin practice. So more deeply held stretches and poses. I do have a visitor in my studio at the moment, my little guy, Oscar. So hopefully he will behave himself, but he might be crossing in front of the video at some point. I can hear, and you can probably hear his collar rattling a little bit, but here we are. So coming onto our mat, I've also designed this class specifically with just the use of a blanket. I know a lot of us are limited by props at home, and I didn't want to stop us from our practice. So for this practice, we're going to start lying down. So let's come all the way onto our back, and feel free to have your knees bent here. A position that I really love is to walk my feet a little further out, so it's more of a 45-degree angle. This is a beautiful way to just reset the psoas muscle. In fact, we often call this constructive rest or natural psoas release position. And we're just going to take a few breaths here. If you'd like to put a blanket or a small pillow under your head, feel free, or also feel free to extend your legs all the way out. And let's just start to breathe. It always takes a few moments at the beginning of our practice to really let ourselves settle. And so for this time right now, just let your body get heavy. Feel your feet on the mat. Feel the triangular bone of your sacrum heavy on the mat. Back ribs, back of your head. And then let's just start to notice our breath. Big and full breaths in and out. Let's see if we can expand into our belly, rib cage, chest, and let go slowly. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Let's take a big breath in and hold our breath at the top. Slowly let go. Big breath in. Hold. Slowly let go. Big breath in. Hold. And let go. And again, settle. We really want to use our practice to connect to our body. We spend a lot of time in our head at this point right now, even more so. We need to get back to our body for grounding, to help reduce stress. And start to move our fingers and our toes. Maybe we take a big stretch out Or maybe we curl into a ball, but either way, we will meet with our knees hugging up to our chest, rocking slowly from side to side. Maybe a few circles with our knees, just feeling again that lovely release through the low back, heavy, heavy through the whole spine. Holding our right leg close, extend our left leg long. Let's bring our heel right down. Find that sense of ease. And then change sides. Again, hugging our knee in, heel heavy on the floor. And just for a little bit of movement, just to help warm ourselves, let's bring our heels a little bit closer towards our body, arms at our sides. Pressing our hips high, squeeze through the glutes, squeeze the knees towards each other so they stay in line to the hips. Lower down. Exhale up and squeeze. And release. One more time, press up. And slowly back and down. Let's gather our knees in again. Let's roll to our side, using our hands to press up. Let's come up to all fours, stacking up our joints, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. A big inhale, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, press the floor away, round into the spine. Inhale, roll through. Exhale, round the back. And inhale. And let's start to set ourselves up for our whisper breath, Ujjayi breathing like steam against glass. That nasally sound. Let the spine move any way that feels good. Let's come back to child's pose. Taking a moment, resting our head. Maybe a gentle rock side to side. If you do have a block, you can place that under your forehead. Deeply soothing. Again, we are cultivating yin. One up, right arm under the left. Thread the needle and hold. Cultivating yin means bringing about our soothing qualities, nurturing. Let's change arms. Slowing down. Calming the body. Quieting the mind. Moving into a more meditative state. Come back up to all fours. A little movement again in the spine. And then let's take a yin posture here. We'll reach forward with our left arm. Take a big inhale and exhale. Sink back. So it's Anahatasana, or half of an Anahatasana, which is opening the heart center. Anahata is the heart chakra. So this really creates space through the shoulder, through the chest. We can bring our head down to our mat. We can even place it under the fist of the opposite arm. Really opening and creating space through the front of the chest. Allowing our body to slowly relax, soften, and begin to feel safe. Slowly come on up. Change sides. Right arm reaches out. Inhale, exhale, sink in. Again, rest the head if we'd like, on the mat or on our vest. We might find a lot of difference one side to the other. If we are taking care of our shoulder and this is too much, just bend the arm, okay? We're looking for approximately 50 to 60% sensation in these poses for this practice. Because the longer we stay, the intensity builds quite naturally. But as the intensity grows, we move out of yin and into yang. We become elevated once again. We want to stick to, again, that yin perspective, cultivating yin. Moving our spine now. Find ease. And then from here, let's step forward with our left leg. And we're going to do that same opening through the knee. I'm just going to use a blanket for some extra padding for my knee. You also need that. I would suggest it. Bringing our hands inside our foot, so taking the foot just a touch wider. As we're ready, releasing the toes. Inhale, exhale. It's the front of our hip crease that we're looking to release. So we can squeeze into our glute. Again, 60% top edge. And breathe. Whisper sounding breath. Smooth and even. If you have the space to come to your forearms, by all means, but maintain that 60%. Staying here, or we can also take our front foot a bit on a diagonal, perhaps roll to the outside of the foot, setting up more for a dragon lunge here as we continue to sink in and down. Listening to our bodies, breathing. Checking in, backing off if we need to. Slowly coming up. Walking our foot back into center. A little flow here, so sinking back into the hamstring, forward into a lunge, back into our hamstring, forward into a lunge, back into our hamstring. Breathe in, breathe out. And let's change legs. Stepping through with our opposite leg now. We might have a lot of difference one side to the other, so set the pose up slowly, taking care. Again, the foot just a little wider, hands inside. You can come up onto your fists. If you have blocks or a bolster, you can place your arms or forearms in that. And again, open that front crease of the hip. Sink down with gravity. If we start upping the edge of yang, getting a little elevated, back off a little bit. Breathe in and breathe out. Creating space. Holding our thoughts in our body. Connected to the sensation we feel in our hip right now. Perhaps through the front of the quad. And then we can take that foot out on the diagonal, roll to the edge of the foot. Staying up or maybe coming down onto our forearms. Breathe. Stay here, stay in the pose, stay in the moment. And then slowly come on up. Again, walk the foot back to the center. Sink back into a hamstring stretch. Inhale forward. Move with ease. Exhale, sink back. Inhale forward. Exhale. Hold. And then let's come to all fours. And come all the way to your belly. Rest here heavily. Bring your forehead onto your hands. Feel your belly and also the front creases of your hips once again. Feel them sinking to the floor. We call this position sleeping crocodile. It's a beautiful space for rest, grounding. So enjoy, surrender to the pose. Sometimes in our yoga practice we'll find certain poses are more subtle than others. This is certainly one. Not a lot of sensation happening, but a lot of beautiful work energetically. So we continue to melt to the floor, soften through the belly. Each breath we take, adding just a little massage to the organs. Let's go ahead and slide our forearms in a little closer. We want to be able to lift our chest up here. I tend to take my hands a little wider than my elbows. We do want to roll our shoulders back. The work is really pressing down through the forearms. And then a little lift through the lower belly. So we're drawing ourselves, our weight away from our pubic bone, while at the same time our tailbone becomes very heavy. This adds some compression through the low back. Again, monitoring sensation. So if it's too much, come down a little. Breathe here. This is our Sphinx pose. Legs continue to be heavy. The creases of our hips continue to be heavy. Upper back slightly activated. Inhale. Exhale, come on down and rest. A lot of the poses I've chosen in this practice are opening for the front body. This is for a few reasons. One is that it helps combat that forward slouched position that we so often find ourselves in. It releases stagnant energy through the front body by opening up through the front body and the deep frontal line. But also it's mood elevating. As we move slowly forward with our shoulders, finding that sort of rounded, slouched position we often find ourselves in, it's more difficult to breathe. But also we may find at the same time our mood getting lower. Opening the body allows more breath, more oxygen-rich blood, and generally a little happier mood. So we're going to move into a really wonderful shoulder stretch. I'll start by extending my right arm out. Palm is down and the hand is at shoulder height or even just slightly under. If it's going higher, it's going to put too much strain in the shoulder. So we want to really watch that level. And then slowly, using my left hand, I'm going to roll towards my right arm. This might be enough and a lot, and you can just keep both legs straight out. You can add a little intensity by bending the left knee, placing the foot on the floor, and then gently using the left hand to increase pressure. Wherever you find yourself here, breathe, hold, stay. Create space. All right, let's slowly come back through center. Bend the elbow nice and slowly. Come back in. Rest. And then let's slide our left arm out. I just need a little more space on my mat. With the right hand, slowly roll to the left. Bend the knee. Press your hand into the floor. Stay here. You feel like you might need a blanket or pillow under your head, then by all means, and not sure if my video camera on my phone is picking up all the sounds beyond my voice, but I can hear Oscar snoring on the chair right now. He's actually snoring pretty quietly. Sometimes I can hear him from across the room. Again, just continuing to breathe. And let slowly come on down. Slowly move the shoulder in, bend the elbow. It's gonna feel pretty creaky after that long hold, and then take some time. You can always release the arms back if that's better for the shoulders, or just keep them in a little closer. And let's bring our hands under our shoulders. Come on back into child's pose. Knees nice and wide. Fists stack under the forehead. Breathe. Feel the weight on your tailbone pulling down closer to your heels. Breathe deeply into your belly. Sink in. Let's bring our hands under our shoulders. Move to our seat. Join the soles of our feet together. Inhale and exhale. Watch the grip in the hands. Again, watch the intensity of pressure. Notice how slow the breath has become. Slowing the world down. Let gravity take over, sinking just a little deeper. Roll all the way up. And just pause a moment. Hold this space. Calm. Centered. Bring your focus to your third eye point, the space between your brow. Space of trust and intuition. Let's gently cross our legs, easy seated position. Hands to our knees, And opposite shoulder comes around and back up. And the other side. Center. Let's reach our right arm, our left arm to the sky. Inhale. Exhale, up and over. Sink evenly through the sit bones of both sides of your seat. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Hold and breathe. Coming up. And again, pause. Hold the space. Feel the full height of your spine. And slowly bring our legs back in. Make our way onto our back. Before we do, I just want to mimic the blanket as much as possible to a block. Granted, if you have a block, just use that, make it easier. But we all have blankets or towels that we can use in our house. So this one's, it's pretty dense. So if your blanket is much softer, in fact, you're better off to use a towel for this, even over those really soft blankets. We want something with a little bit of density to it. And then try and get it, this is what, maybe 3 or 4 inches, I think, in its height. Because we want to do restorative bridge. Because that is such an absolutely incredible posture. So coming back with our feet pretty close in, let's lift up just enough and slide that folded towel, blanket, block, whatever you've got under the sacrum. You know you've hit the right spot because that whole sort of triangular bone of your sacrum will just melt right down and we'll feel this really lovely sense of ease. Tuck the chin slightly and just let your ribs soften down. Continue to breathe through the belly. This is also a lovely mood elevating posture. The only counter-indication for this pose would be pregnancy. So if you are pregnant, please just slide the block back out of the way, have your back flat on the floor. But other than that, as long as you're not feeling any pinching in your back, you're perfectly good to be here. What can be also really lovely is to play with extending one leg, catching that stretch through the psoas muscle, through the front of the hip. You can alternate your legs. Once you change, really make sure we get that heavy sensation in the leg happening. Soft contact. We try both legs. You just want to make sure we're not feeling a pull forward where we really arch our back to support this. We need to still be able to keep the sacrum flat and our ribs down. I'm kind of borderline with this one, so I tend to just do one leg or the other, but all our spines are different. So whatever feels best for you. Take some time here. Be curious. Explore. And of course, breathe. We have one more layer for this pose, and that's legs up the wall without the wall. So we start to lift our knees up, balancing up on whatever it is we've got, towel, blanket, block. And then start to lift the legs up. We'll notice that more weight comes into our upper body. This is deeply restorative. Counterindications for this would again be pregnancy, high blood pressure, and heart issues, heart disease. It's okay for a few moments, but just not long extended time with the legs up. This is a lovely way to change perspective, to feel how the blood is just coming down out of the legs, back up to the head and the body. Feel free to stay here as long as you'd like. Feel free to push pause on this video so you can stay a little longer. We'll often do this pose in our practice for Shavasana, so holding for 10 minutes. And slowly bending our knees, placing one foot back down and then the other. Pause and breathe. Let's lift up, slide that blanket out of the way. Bring our feet together, let our knees come wide in supine butterfly. If we're comfortable to do so, take our arms overhead. This is a very powerful position. We really consider it a full body mudra. A mudra is a hand gesture that we use in yoga, generally to shift energy. This is a full body mudra. In this space, we are very vulnerable. At this time, we're very vulnerable, so allowing ourselves to just present again, meeting ourselves where we're at. Notice how this pose makes you feel. Sometimes it can feel really beautiful, really freeing. And slowly, let's bring our knees back up again, our hands back in. And extending our legs all the way out. Palms open, we find ourselves in Shavasana. Stay here
breathe. Allowing ourselves to get really heavy. Allowing our thoughts to drift away. Not holding on to anything. Continuing to absorb the practice. Honor that calm space we find ourselves in now. And once again, feel free to hit pause on this video so you can stay here longer. I would strongly recommend a 10-minute meditation shavasana here. And when the time is ready, moving fingers and toes. Taking a big stretch if you'd like, or curling into a ball. Rolling to our sides. And slowly pushing ourselves back up. Our hands come to heart center. Thank you for practicing with me. Namaste. I guess Oscar slept through the whole practice. Come here, Doodle. Come say hi. Oh, I know I wake him up. This is my boy. He's my baby, actually. Anyways, thank you for practicing with me. This is a great practice to do right before bed or at any point in the day where you just need that space. So, thank you.